Hello, everybody. Still waiting for the closed captions to turn on, which is interesting that they don't automatically turn on. But, nevertheless, we are here to do the Mark chapter 16 discussion and chapter reading. So let's begin. Now, when the Sabbath was past, meaning over with, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices that they might come and anoint Christ. Okay? This is after he died on the cross, by the way. Anoint him. This was custom in the Old Testament. For burial, they would perfume and fragrant and kind of like dress up. Kind of like the same principle as when you die, they put you in a box and they make it a very fancy box and they make everything, they put makeup on you and they sew your jaw shut and everything, and they try and make everything look so wonderful, kind of thing. Very normal thing. Very early in the morning, on the first day of the week, this would put it on Sunday morning, if the days of the week were accurate. Just saying. They came to the tomb when the sun had risen. The sun was just coming up and was just rising. Okay? And they said among themselves, or to themselves, in other words, like kind of like a group of people walking, and they were just saying, hey, what do you think about this? Kind of chit-chatting as you walk, kind of thing. Okay? Who will roll away the stone from the door of the tomb for us? Now, the reason they say this is because that stone is a heavy stone. It's not something very light. It's not something that some women can move out the way. Okay? The tombs of the old, they didn't have, they didn't bury people in the ground like they did in that way. Instead, they put them inside of caves, the dead bodies inside of caves, which they called tombs. Okay? If you want an idea of what a tomb idea is, just go look at the pyramids. A lot of their kings were buried in tombs. No way of escaping, hardly any way of entering, kind of like really preserving it and everything. Anyway, but when they looked up, so they're walking, probably having their eyes on the ground or chit-chatting with each other, looking at each other. When they looked up, they saw that the stone had been rolled away already, for it was very large. It was huge. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a long white robe, sitting on the right side of the tomb. And they were alarmed. Now, it doesn't say right side of the tomb, but because they entered the tomb, we can assume the right side of the tomb. Okay? Safe assumptions, in other words. And they were alarmed. Many times when the Lord speaks, what he has to say can catch us off guard. It can mess with our minds. It can challenge us in very many different ways, because what he says often reverberates throughout our entire being. Means it sinks so deep into us when he speaks that it changes us from within, and it changes us for a very profound way. But he said to them, meaning this young man, do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. Now, if we read Matthew, Matthews will actually say this was an angel of the Lord. Okay, I believe. you seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. Now comes to our next point to make on this video. You might think that you're too far from the love of God. You might think there's no way I can be saved. You might think there's no way I can come back from this. You might think there's no way God can love me after this. There's no way I can find my way back to God. There's no way I can crawl back to God. There's no way I can come back to God. He's going to reject me. You, in essence, feel crucified. You feel hopeless. But take heed to the words that are said next. He is risen. What feels hopeless, what feels a dead road, what feels like it's not going anywhere, can be brought back to life with just a word of the Lord. He is not here. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. Examine. Look for yourself. See for yourself. Okay? But go tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you, as our good Lord always does. He goes ahead of us and points us the way. He goes ahead of us and goes, come on, come on. I know the way. It's this way. Okay? He is going before you into Galilee, because that's what he said. He's fulfilling his words. He's being true to his words. There you will see him. And he said as he said to you, meaning as he told you he would be in Galilee, that's what he's doing. He's being a person of his word, a God of his word. So they went out quickly and they fled from the tomb. So they went out fast. And they fled, they ran from the tomb. Okay. For they trembled and were amazed. So they're trembling, they're like overcome with emotion, overcome. So in them there's like this sense of like all the hairs on the back of your neck standing up, you just know something's not right in that sense, but more of like a positive way of that. Everything in their being knows who this was. This was the angel of the Lord. Christ has returned. Oh my gosh, I'm almost overwhelmed. My emotions are going crazy. Okay, so they trembled and they were amazed. Okay, it doesn't say what kind of trembled they were. It doesn't say that they were trembled in fear. And the word before, when the angel said it, or the person, the young man, as it lists in Mark, says, do not be alarmed. Not to say, do not be afraid. Do not be alarmed. Do not be shocked, in other words. Okay? Do not be shocked at what has happened. Okay? The Lord said he's going to do something. He's going to do it. Okay? And they were amazed, they were shocked, and they said nothing to anybody, for they were afraid. So they were actually afraid. Now that we're seeing they trembled with fear, but they were amazed at the same time. So it's like I'm scared, but I'm overjoyed at the same time, kind of thing. Okay? This is why you have to read these verses slowly in order to comprehend everything and piece everything together. Okay? Now when he rose early on the first day, this is talking about the Lord, by the way. How do we know this? Because of what's said next. He appeared first to Mary Magdalene. Okay, now think about that. You could have appeared to anybody, your disciples, Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes. You chose to first appear to a woman. Significance there. I know there's something deep there as to why he chose to reveal himself first to Mary Magdalene, of whom he cast out 7 demons, not one, but 7 demons. Okay. She went and told those who had been with him as they mourned and wept. Now that I'm thinking about Mary Magdalene, if I do recall, one of the first miracles had to do with Mary Magdalene. I know one of the very first ones was also turning the water into wine. I don't know which one came first, but Mary Magdalene was one of them. One of the very first things that he ever did, as far as his miracles go, to free her. Okay, she went. So we experience God. We experience what God has for us. We experience the mercy of God. We experience God's almighty grace and mercy when we don't deserve it. And when we are drawn into his presence, we have this urgency to go. This urgency to go and just fall down at his feet and worship him and just be still in ourselves, because we don't know what to say. I mean, we're caught for a loss of words, you know. Here it is, this God that can do anything and everything, and he would take the time out of his day to show you that you're important to him. That's something majorly powerful. She went and told, because that's the next thing that occurs when you experience God. You go, and then you can't help but say it. You can't help but say it. This is a lot of the reason why the people in the Gospels, when miracles would take place, Jesus would say, don't say nothing, and they went about telling everybody, because they couldn't help it. They were so overjoyed at what was going on in there, that what the Lord did for them, that they couldn't contain that joy. Okay? And she went and told those who had been with him, the disciples, as they mourned and wept. Okay, so they're thinking, oh no, the kingdom of God came and it's gone. We lost it. You know, you just feel broken and weak, but there's a humility and there's a stillness, if you will, in that brokenness. There's a stillness within your brokenness, that when you're broken, you can really hear clearly God talking to you. Because when we're broke, our pride is out of the way, our ego is out of the way, our anger is out of the way, our self-pride is out of the way, our self-indulgence is out of the way. Everything's out of the way when we're broken. When we're broken, we're empty. We're like naked before God. There's nothing hiding and interfering with God speaking to your soul. And when they had, meaning the disciples, when they had heard that he was alive and had been seen by her, they did not believe it. Maybe it was jealousy, or maybe it was that they thought that she was lying just to comfort them, or whatever. But they did not believe. Now remember, this is one of the key concepts in faith. Your lack of belief will change everything about how God deals with you. After that, so after he appeared to Mary Magdalene and she told the disciples, after that he appeared in another form. That is getting on my nerve. He appeared to them in another form. Okay, another form. That means looked differently. Okay. He appeared in another form to two of them as they walked and went into the country. Just as he was transfigured on the mountain, he was transfigured here to be changed. And they went and told it to the rest. but they did not believe them either. Now, if I remember this story correctly, he's walking with two people, and they don't recognize that's him, that's the Lord, until almost near the very end. Okay, and they went as well and told it to the rest of them. So two disciples witnessed him, and they still had not put it all together, but they did not believe them either. So it didn't matter whether it was a woman or a man. They didn't believe them. Okay. Later, he appeared to the 11. Later, he appeared to the 11. So why would it say the 11? Remember, Judas Iscariot, that dang on that. Judas Iscariot killed himself. So there's only 11. There's only 11 left. There's only 11 disciples left. That's why 11. Okay. He appeared to the 11 as they sat at the table, and he rebuked their unbelief. Now, notice, he didn't rebuke them. He rebuked their unbelief. Okay. He rebuked their unbelief. Their unbelief, their lack of belief. He rebuked the spirit that was in them, keeping them from believing. He rebuked it. He discarded it. He didn't pay attention to it, in other words. He rejected it. And not only did he rebuke their unbelief, but he also rebuked their hardness of heart. Their hardness of heart. Because they did not believe those who had seen him after he had risen. Okay. So he rebuked the attitude, the spirit behind it, the spirit orchestrating it. Okay. And he said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Preach the gospel to every creature. He who believes and is baptized will be saved. Now this is talking about the baptism of the Spirit, being born again in the Spirit. Okay, the baptism, the physical baptism, is just an outward expression of what has already occurred to you on the inside. Okay, so believe, and he who believes and is baptized, to make it known, in other words, of what you believe, will be saved. But he who does not believe will be condemned. Now that is very powerful words. Listen to that again. He who believes in my words, believes me, will be saved. But he who does not believe will be condemned. Okay? And I need to highlight that. So pardon me just for a second, ladies and gentlemen, because that is a good, very good word of warning. And I really want to highlight that. Okay? This is a double-edged sword. Basically, if you believe, you will be saved. If you don't believe, you will not. Okay? And these signs will follow those who believe. Listen to the signs. These signs will follow those who believe. In my name, they will cast out demons. They will speak with new tongues. Okay, so people often believe that this speaking with new tongues just means speaking in tongues. But I believe that there's more to this. So let me kind of break it down for you. The very first part is very simple. If you believe and trust in the Lord, you will be saved. If you don't believe in or trust in the Lord, you will not be saved. Okay. The second part needs a little bit of deciphering. In the name, they will cast out demons. So let me put it this way. Anytime that you cast off of yourself anything that pulls you away from the Lord, you are in essence casting out demons. Because demons are at the heart of what's orchestrating that desire, right? So for example, if you feel the desire to have sex with the same sex, right? A spirit is at the center of that desire, motivating and cultivating that desire for you to follow sin. Okay, so if you cast out that feeling and say, I might feel this, but I take this and submit this to God, and God says same-sex should not happen. Same-sex intercourse should not happen, right? Then I'm casting out demons. This would also be in your head as well, of casting out demons, okay? You can cast out demons by focusing on the good thoughts, not on the bad thoughts. By focusing on positivity, not on negativity. By focusing and filtering out your thoughts to be captive to the obedience of Christ. Basically, in other words, you filter out what thoughts you're going to entertain in your head based on whether or not, based on what they are trying to do in your head. Are they trying to pull you to God, or are they trying to pull you away from God? Are they trying to make you help you believe in God, or are they trying to help you doubt God? Okay. As for speaking in new tongues, this could be a very literal way. Okay. It could be that they are actually speaking in tongues. But based on other verses, I feel like, and I want to say I feel like because I don't know for sure, but I feel like that this one is actually connected to a couple other verses. One of them being, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? Which includes what words you choose to use on a daily basis. Hence, speaking with new tongues, speaking in new ways, okay? Where a good example of this would be where you used to live before to talk about negativity, doubt, evil, and let anything and everything come out your mouth. Now you're focusing on only entertaining that which is good. So in a very literal sense, you're speaking in a new way, in a new tongue. Okay? So that's the signs. They would cast out demons, whatever kind of demon it is, whether it's a spiritual demon in your own life that you're casting out, a demon in your head that's putting thoughts in your head. This includes suicide, and anything else that you can think of, any thought, any feeling, any action that you would feel of jealousy or whatever, you're casting that out, okay? And then the speaking in new tongues, changing the essence of how you speak. And I really love that, so I'm going to highlight that, okay? And that is the signs listed here. We're not done yet, though, okay, of those who are saved, okay? Now let's continue on, because there's more. They will take up serpents. They will take up snakes, up serpents, up evil. And if they drink anything deadly, it will by no means hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick, and they will recover, okay? So this is more signs of those who walk with the Lord, those who truly walk with the Lord. So let's break it down. If you truly walk with the Lord, you're going to change your voice patterns. You're going to change how you use your words, what you choose to say, what you choose to think. Okay, so in a very literal way, you're going to change your tongue. And you're going to cast out demons of your life, out of not only your life, but you're going to try and help others cast that out of theirs. Okay, you're going to take up serpents. That means you're going to uproot demonic influences. You go uproot them out of your own life and out of the lives of those around you. And if you drink of anything deadly, it will not hurt you. It might distract you, but it's not going to kill you. It's not going to harm you. It's not going to destroy what the Lord does in you, because no matter how bad Satan knocks you down, you're going to get back up. Okay? In other words, Satan can't keep you down. Okay? And when they lay hands on the sick will recover. Now that recovering could mean any sort of recovering. Physical recovering, because you could be sick in the body, right? Or it could be sick in the mind. So the recovering might be the healing of your mental health. The sickness might be in your spirit. So that might be a recovery of the spirit. Okay? Very many different ways. Okay? So then, after the Lord had spoken to them, He was received up into heaven, literally ascending, received, and sat down at the right hand of God. There's a verse here for this. Psalms 110, verse 1. And I don't know if Roblyn is watching, but yep, she is. Okay. It is Psalms 110, verse 1. Okay. 110, verse 1. Psalms 110, verse 1 for that verse. Old Testament. Okay. Now they do, in each of these, by the way, they do connect it to different verses in the New Testament as well. But right now, I just want to point out the Old Testament connections for you. Okay. Perhaps she can't do the verse. We'll wait for a little bit and see if it pops up. But I'll have it ready just in case. And they went out and they preached everywhere. Didn't matter where they were. On the bus. Let me make it very simple for you. It doesn't matter where you are. Church, on the streets, on the bus, at work, wherever. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. They preached everywhere. This is why when I'm in a dating group, even though it's a dating group, I take God with me. I'm going to proclaim God wherever I go. I don't care if it's the purpose of the group is a dating group. I don't care if it's a gaming group for video gamers. I don't care if it's on YouTube. I don't care if it's here. I don't care if it's there. I'm taking God with me everywhere. Okay? Everywhere. That means all places, at all times. The Lord working with them. So the Lord will actually work. Here's a promise from the Lord. He will actually work with you. Okay, he will actually work with you. He will assist you, in other words. Okay, and confirming the word through the accompanying signs. That's the signs listed above. Okay. Well, I haven't seen the verse, so I'm going to post it myself. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, we just finished Mark. Our next video for tomorrow will be chapter 1 of Luke. Okay? So I will see you guys later. Have a good day as we finish this out.